Adaptive positioning is your best friend. And so we'll sit down with a customer and say what works for you and what works for us, and we'll figure it out together. And so ideally, we would do extraction as a service. We'd come in with our own equipment. We would do the extraction, give the product back to the mine owner, and they sell it into the market. For us, that works beautifully because it detaches us from the volatility of the lithium price itself, which sometimes is good, but sometimes it's not good. And it also detaches us from the owning the land.
My next guest is Amanda Hall. She's the founder and CEO of Summit Nanotech Corp. Thank you very much for joining us, Amanda.
Thank you for having me.
Amanda, your company has really sort of come to my attention suddenly, like sort of filtered to the top of all of the direct lithium extraction technologies that are clamoring for world dominance, if you will. And obviously, I guess it was a total of $23 million in financings you obtained through a Series A financing. And so I'd like to hear from you just how did you evolve from just geophysicist to nanotechnology specialist?
Just a quick correction, we raised $14 million in our Series A, but cumulative with the previous rounds, it came out to about $25 million. So just wanted to clarify that. So geophysicists are stewards of the earth. You know, we use science to make sure that the earth is being not just respected, but that the extraction processes that are occurring are done efficiently, effectively, economically. And so I've been trained in this for decades in my field. And when I saw the ramp up curve for lithium coming, it looked like a tidal wave to me. And I thought, holy cow, we need to get some good processes in place before this wave hits us. And so I felt a huge responsibility as a scientist, as a human, as a mom, to try and fix this problem before it hit us hard.
Summit Nanotech's technology is obviously got some features in its developed research to date that gives comfort to the likes of BHP Billiton, sufficient that they're going to participate financially. So can you describe for us your technology in the context of other DLE technologies, where yours is different and what drove you to that differentiation?
I think the beautiful thing about DLE today is that we're all at the front of a precipice almost of the future of the unknown, because DLE has never been commercialized. And so what's really nice is that a lot of us who are developing technology, we're bouncing ideas off each other and we're pushing each other to do better and better. And so, I even said to my team just a couple of weeks ago, even if our company fails, we participated in pushing the sector to see that there's new ways of doing things that are better and of making our competitors even strive harder for that goal. And so it's all around, it's a good thing. But so as we developed our technology, we did a lot of customer intelligence gathering and asked a lot of questions about what it is that we needed to improve on in order to make direct lithium extraction technology not just more economic, but more sustainable as well. And so by marrying those two things and making sure that what we are bringing to the field is robust and scalable, we really did come up very quickly with a solution that miners want. So it's super exciting.
Is yours then of the membrane filtration variety, or is it of the selective ion transfer adsorbent bead process?
The heavy lifter is adsorbent, and that's really the thing that normalizes the brine that's coming in the front end. And then beyond that front end piece, we have a lot of other technologies that we string together to do the full complete process. So it's an end-to-end process where we take a raw brine, we have to pre-treat it, we use the adsorbent as our heavy lifter to normalize, and then we have other methods of recovering water and purification and carbonation, and we're even working on a hydroxide process as well. But always keeping in mind low energy, low pressure, robust, scalable, and economic.
I hear about the adsorbent bead element a lot, and my question for you is, how many cycles does an absorbent bead load last in your case, and how important is that to the cost of the entire operation?
It's extremely important. And there's a big difference between ion exchange beads and adsorption beads. One operates with an acid base swing and the other one operates with a concentration swing. And so we wanted to veer away from acid base because it's hard on the it's that environment, that like wild pH swinging environment, is really hard on the sorbent, and it degrades it faster, and they have to be replaced more often. So we went with the concentration swing adsorbent, and so it's a much gentler process. It's just a water-based process, and so as long as we're recovering our own water and reusing it, the beads last a lot longer, and what's coming out of the beads is compatible for reinjection, which is another really important part of DLE. If you can't reinject the spent brine, your project is going to be a mess. You end up causing more harm than good. And so making sure that the spent brine composition is compatible for reinjection is a really important part of our process.
And is there a great deal of pre-treatment necessary to brines that might be perhaps richer in contaminants like particularly boron or magnesium?
Those two are not as much of a problem, but every reservoir is different. It's all unique. And even if you drill in different parts of the reservoir, the composition changes. It's like a living creature almost underground. So really understanding aquifer management, understanding aquifer dynamics is an important part of making sure that the process itself matches what's coming out of the ground. And so if we're drilling a well and we're getting compositions with high boron, high magnesium, that's not a problem for us, but there are things that are a problem. So iron, for instance, arsenic, like there's other things that we have to watch out for. But as long as we're aware of them and we build into our process a response to what's coming out of the ground, automation is very important. So being able to use sensors to identify changes in the environment of the brine composition, and then adjusting the process so that it meets those needs is really important too.
So I guess brine composition can change from depth of the salar or the source material, as well as from lateral geography. Does this mean that the cost of developing a end-to-end solution is custom or original for every single brine?
When we put our business model forward to customers, it's like a table. It's like a table that it's like, if these are the situations we're dealing with today, this is what we'll charge you. But if it changes, we can't charge you that anymore because we won't make any money. So, we have to work with the customers to come up with a business model that makes sense for them and us. And it really does wildly change depending on the composition of the brine.
What is the business model that you see as the winning combination for the developer of a salar in Argentina versus, say, a Brine reserve holder in Saskatchewan?
My belief is that adaptive positioning is your best friend. And so we'll sit down with a customer and say what works for you and what works for us, and we'll figure it out together. And so ideally, we would do extraction as a service. We'd come in with our own equipment. We would do the extraction, give the product back to the mine owner, and they sell it into the market. For us, that works beautifully because it detaches us from the volatility of the lithium price itself, which sometimes is good, but sometimes it's not good. And it also detaches us from the owning the land. So like, let's say, for instance, we're working with a Chilean miner and the Chilean government decides to nationalize lithium. Well, guess what? We're out of luck. So, there's ways that we can de-risk our operations today by setting up a business model that's adaptable. But we're open to JVs. We're open to extraction as a service. What we're not open to is selling our technology or licensing it, because then we lose control of our intellectual property, and that's not okay for me. So we can work with customers up to a point, but protecting our IP fiercely is what we stand on.
Is your intention then to offer access to participation in your company's future through an IPO at some point?
Perhaps. Yeah, we're probably going to raise a huge Series B coming up shortly here. So participation through that with mostly venture capitalists. We're kind of long gone from the angel stage. But yeah, we may IPO someday. It's who knows what the future holds.
Is the grade of the brine in terms of lithium concentration, is that an important factor in the economics?
Absolutely, yes. In fact, we have a cutoff where anything less than, and for us it's 200 parts per million, we don't even play in that space because it's harder technically and it's less economically viable. And so for us, it's like anything over 200 is okay, anything less, not okay.
So that pretty much eliminates petroleum-produced water brines from the entire equation.
Today, yes. In the future, we're hoping to figure out a way to create, we want to build a new module that would go at the front end of our process that would somehow magically get rid of the hydrocarbons, get rid of the sulfuric acids, and concentrate the lithium, but not the contaminants. So that's a huge ask, though. And we don't have time to do that right now. We're focused on the easier brines to process. But we'll come back someday and work with those oil field brines.
Amanda, I really appreciate your input and participation today. I hope to have you on as a guest sometime soon in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
You bet. Bye for now.